Hi, this is 5 Minutes Outside with JD, and our guest today is Zach.
Hello, glad to be here.
Today's topic is trout fishing.
Excellent. I like that topic.
Zach, tell me about your classes and why they're important to have the students to have this type of class.
Okay, JD. I teach the fly tying class for the Patch 21st Century program in Roane County. It's for middle school students from Spencer Middle Schools who we mainly serve with this class. And one of the main reasons that we really feel it's important as a program, and I personally feel it's important, is to teach students about their local environment, about water stream stream quality, and also teach them about the biology, the chemistry, and the science involved in water ecology that goes along with becoming a good fisherman and a good steward of your streams, because you want to take care of the things that you love to do, like fishing or hunting. If it's hunting, you want to take care of the woods and protect the woods, and if it's stream, you want to protect the fish in the stream so they'll be there to catch more in the future.
What do they learn?
Students in the class learn a wide variety of things. One of the main focuses of the class is fly tying and fly fishing. So we do a lot with fly fishing and fly tying. Here one of our students is tying a fly. They start out tying basic things like green weenies and woolly boogers and a basic dry fly. Here are students improvising and taking a royal wolf and putting bead head eyes on it and dumbbell eyes and making it heavier and making more of a streamer out of a dry fly that he learned how to tie.
What is what do they learn in the class?
They learn, as I said, but the fly tying, they learn about fly tying, but they also learn a lot about stream ecology and water quality in general. We do things like test the pH, and we do things like go out and look for bugs. You saw us today when we went out and had the nets in the streams, and we try to catch macroinvertebrates. And if we catch those macroinvertebrates, we try to identify them, because we teach them about chemical ways to test the water, like pH or alkalinity or how much oxygen's in the water, which is important to bugs and fish in the water to make good stream quality. But we also learn to look at the different animals that are in the water, like mayflies, stoneflies, caddisflies, hellgrammites. You saw us today. We caught some crane flies and that stonefly, the golden stonefly. And we know how good water is by the number and the diversity, the number of different bugs that are in it, and what kind of bugs. If there's mayflies and stoneflies, it usually means it's good water quality. If there's things like rat-tailed maggots that are in the water and certain kinds of caddis flies and things like that, then the water quality might not be as good. So we learn all kinds of different things about water ecology, about macroinvertebrates, and the biology of the stream as well, the different life that's in it.
What are the two aspects of the class?
The two different aspects are mainly, one of them's the fun part, the fishing part, where we go fly fishing. We learn to tie flies. When the weather's nice, we take our actual fly rods out, learn how to cast and catch fish. And the reason we do fly fishing instead of just other kinds of fishing, spin fishing or bait casting, cat fishing or things like that, is because a lot of the students around here know how to do that and have done that with their families, but not as many of them have done fly fishing. And there's a lot of science involved in fly fishing, with entomology and knowing what bugs you're trying to replicate by making these flies. The other part of it is the ecology part, and that's where we're actually going out and getting in the streams. There's a picture of us working on a stream today. We're talking about K-dams. And a K-dam is something that you build in the stream to create a pool of water that will be there all year long, so trout can live in there or other types of fish. And we can also use that as a test site to see what animals are coming into that stream and what the water quality is. We also do things, as I was saying, with catching the bugs. we always take nets to the stream, whether we're fishing or we're working on our K dams. We always take nets because part of it's about exploring and seeing what's in the stream and becoming familiar with all these different bugs. There's tons of bugs living in the stream. You saw a couple of them today when you went with us that people wouldn't have thought that were in the stream. You thought those wormy things were in the stream, or like you saw, asked about hellgrammites. Hellgrammites, sometimes we find hellgrammites in there, and you got to be careful with those because they'll bite you. You ever been bitten by a hellgrammite?
No.
No, you don't want to be. One bit me one time.
What's the best part of the class?
My favorite part is getting to work with students who are enthusiastic about fishing, because I love fishing, and that's all I think about sometimes is fishing and fly fishing and trout fishing. Around here we don't have as many trout opportunities right in Roane County, but we have a lot of opportunities to catch different types of fish: bluegill, bass, smallmouth, muskie, carp, catfish, things like that. And I like to see how enthusiastic the students get. And it really, my favorite part is that they come for the fishing and like it, but they learn a lot about science and biology and chemistry and things like that that go along with the fishing, but it makes the learning part fun. And that's probably my favorite part, is getting to learn stuff, but it be fun while you're learning it.
Now let's talk about trout fishing.
All right, I've got some questions for you about trout fishing. Since you're a prolific outdoorsman, anybody that has a raccoon on their intro video that big has got to be a prolific outdoorsman. That's the biggest raccoon I've seen in a long time. One of the things that we've been doing in our fly tying class is preparing for spring. And what a lot of trout fishers like to do during the winter is get ready for trout season that's going to come up in the spring or the end of winter, and you get to trout fish. So I'd like to ask you some questions about your preparations for trout. I tie flies during the winter, but I also like to plan a lot of trips. So where do you like to fish? Where's some of your favorite places to trout fish, or that you have trout fish?
Up at Holly River, up in Webster County.
Yep, Holly River's a good one. It's got a lot of different streams that dump in it. It has a lot of different trout, and it also has stock trout, and it has wild trout that are in the stream all year long.
Yeah, that's where I caught the biggest trout I've ever caught.
Nice. What kind of trout was that?
A rainbow.
A rainbow trout. Do you know the other kinds of trout that we have in the state that they usually put in?
Yeah, there's golden and
golden
brown.
Trout. Brown trout, yep.
Some brooks.
Yep, and a brook. That's about the 4 major trout that we have in West Virginia, are brown, golden, rainbow, and brook trout. And our native fish of West Virginia is what?
The brook trout.
The brook trout, correct, JD. And the brook trout used to be the only trout that were in West Virginia after the Ice Age, till we started stocking programs. We started putting trout in. So where are some other places you like to fish? I know you fish some other places other than Holly.
Yeah, I like to, me and Dad fish cranberry sometimes.
Yeah, cranberry's a good one. A lot of people like that one.
And elk.
Elk, yep. Elk River, you ever fish the Williams? Williams is there pretty close to Cranberry, but those are you named off probably 4 of the best trout streams in the state right off the bat that you fish. The Cranberry, the Elk, and the Holly are all ones that people that trout fish a lot would definitely know about. And so what are your favorite lures or baits that you use when you're fishing for these?
Well, different. Usually just what they're biting.
Right.
But,
that's always the trick, isn't it? To figure out what that is.
Yeah, what they're like now, I'd use a salmon egg or power bait or something.
What color
like
salmon
that.
eggs you like to use?
Pink.
Pink, yeah, I like pink ones, orange ones, and bright colored ones. Yep.
And like we always go to Holly up in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
We always use I always like to use spinners.
Spinners, yep. Like Panther Martins and Meps, Rooster Tails, stuff like that. Yep. Those are always good. Anything else that you like to use? Anything that is like a fringe bait that like maybe you only use once in a while when they're not biting on anything else, and you say, well, I'll try this one. I don't use it very often, but I'll try this one.
Sometimes I'll tie jigs, and I'll sometimes use a little hair jig or something.
Little jigs, Joe flies. You ever seen a trout magnet?
Yeah, I use
like
those a lot too.
Yep, trout magnets. All right. And when do you think is the best time to fish? During the day? Do you like the morning, the afternoon, or the evening? What do you think? Or what do you prefer?
Probably the late afternoon, evening.
Yep. I like the late afternoon, evening, sometimes the morning, but those are usually best. Sometimes in the winter, I like to fish in the middle of the day when it's warmer. I don't think it has anything to do with when the fish bite. It's just warmer then.
Yeah.
But definitely in the spring and the summer, I really like fishing in the evening.
Thanks for watching this show, sponsored by A&M Digital Technologies. See you next week.